What's up, everyone? So today we're giving you all FutureDDS's first roundtable or DAT roundtable. We have some of our classmates here to help you all make sure that you get the best score on your DAT as possible. So I want everybody to go ahead and introduce themselves, say where you're from, where you went to undergrad, as well as what was your best subject on the DAT.
How's it going, guys? My name's Nico Cinquepalmi. I come from Brooklyn, New York, and for undergrad I went to Johns Hopkins. My best subject was probably math. Actually, it was math, yeah.
Hi, I'm Samantha Parad. I'm from Wakefield, Massachusetts. I went to the University of Pennsylvania for my undergrad, and my best subject was organic chemistry.
Hey, my name is Corey Williams. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. I did my undergrad in Texas Southern in Houston, Texas. My best subject was a two-way tie between general chemistry and organic chemistry.
All right. So, first question from our viewers. They want to get straight to it. They want to know, what is the #1 tip that you would give to any student who is taking the DAT?
Yeah, I'll go first. #1, above anything, practice questions. If you ever find yourself kind of just reading chemistry books or reading more curriculum-based materials, you're going to miss out on those practice questions, and that's really, what's going to help you this test.
Definitely creating a schedule and sticking to it. No matter how much you don't want to review a test or take a 6-hour practice test, it's important to stay on top of it so you don't have to rearrange your exam date.
I'm going to kind of build on a mixture of both of what they said. I kind of think the best thing that I found was not only doing practice questions, but reviewing why I either got those questions wrong or why I got those questions right. And I found that's where the bulk of my learning came from, although I didn't feel that was a substitute for actually going through the lecture to read the material.
Okay. Great. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of people want to always get past the fluff, so I'm glad that we go ahead and get that question out of the way. So, second question. When did you take your DAT? Were you in school? Were you working? And when you were doing these things, how did you manage the time to actually study for your DAT?
Well, how about I did it wrong. So I was working a full-time job. I was working a full-time job as a dental assistant. Basically, I didn't have any of my shadowing hours, so I kind of needed to cram them in there, before my application. And I was trying to balance that and studying for the DAT. It just simply didn't work. I ended up leaving the job and I studied for an extra 2 months, so in total 3. This was during a gap year, and I did well. So I think my main advice is don't try and do it with a full-time job. It just doesn't work.
Okay, that's great. Sam?
I was in a post-baccalaureate program taking 3 science classes and working as a nurse for 20 hours a week. I did most of my studying at night for 5 hours probably, and it led to long days, but staying productive and keeping on schedule.
I was also working a full-time job as well as being in school and doing research during the day. I couldn't let go of my full-time job, so what I ended up doing was changing jobs and finding a job that allowed me to study while going to school. So I worked security overnight, and that allowed me to basically get 5 to 6 hours in every night, and that was sufficient for me.
Okay, great. And something that I do want to inform our viewers on is all of these students, they actually scored 27 or above on a specific section on the DAT, so if I was you all, I would definitely listen to their advice. So, next question. As far as time duration, how long did you all study for the test? Did you feel like this was too long, or did you feel like you could have done the exact same or gotten the same score with a less amount of time?
Well, like I said before, I studied for 3 months, 2 of which were actually serious studying, full-time, 10 to 12 hours a day of just locking myself in my room and buckling down. I think it was sufficient for me, but that being said, I don't want to give any blanket advice because I know everybody learns at a different pace. I'm not trying to brag. I know that I personally take things up pretty quickly, but you should try to get a bigger glimpse of what you're going to be covering and kind of estimate on your own how much time you need.
So?
I did Ari's boot camp, the 10-week schedule, but in 6 weeks. I think that was also a good plan for me. It kept me on schedule. It was a good amount of time, but you definitely have to stay on top of it and make sure you can stay focused during those 6 weeks.
I also used a 2 to 3 month study schedule. Originally, I was taking the MCAT, so I used the Berkeley Review. If you're familiar with that, if not, look that up. They have a PDF version of a study schedule for 3 months already printed out. And basically what you do is organize where you're able to study in the morning, and at night you're able to go through the corresponding questions corresponding to that section. So that's basically what I did. 2 to 3 months, I found that to be sufficient. But I think the key to the amount of time it takes is how you prepare for it. Me, I was able to explore what I was weak in. I was able to start with that and devote more time to that, be able to do more practice questions with that as well. And I think if you're able to do that instead of wasting time reviewing what you already know, then it'll save yourself a lot of time down the road.
Okay. Great, great. Yeah, so it seems like everything is really like subjective when it comes to that question. I think a lot of students look for like a definitive answer, like 2 or 3 months, but from what you all said, it really depends on what you're doing, what's going on with you and stuff like that.
It also depends on like how driven you are, what kind of study schedules you're used to. You know, I don't know how hard your undergrad is right now, but if you're used to studying 10, 12 hours a day and just buckling down, then you probably won't need as much time as someone who likes to take a few breaks or maybe have a life, you know.
All right. So, you're interested in becoming a dentist.
You ever wonder what dental school is like?
You probably think it looks a little bit like this.
Okay, so we entered this new sushi place and it was so good. Hey, are you paying attention?
Sorry. Mr. Brown, next week I need your help doing 2 extractions, 3 sets of dentures, and 2 pediatric cases, okay? All right, see you later.
What?
Dental school isn't always like this. We're here to show you exactly how it is. My name, Terrell Friday.
And my name is Tyler Brown. And we are FutureDDS. Our channel is here to give you advice on how to get into dental school, as well as give you a glimpse into our dental school experience.
So follow our YouTube channel here,
as well as our Instagram.
We're here to help make sure that you become a future DDS.
So, next question. I know some of you all kind of like spoke on this a little bit, but what materials did you find to be the most helpful when you were studying for your tests?
This is probably going to be a big debate between the 3 of us, but here's my lineup. For the math section, the biggest thing for me is that I drag my hand when I write. And I don't know if you guys know, but you're going to get a laminated sheet and probably one of the wettest markers in the entire world to work with. So originally I was only doing it on paper and it was working out fine for me. And then when I switched to this method, it was just a whole, it was terrible. So you have to learn how to be good at that. For the math, I took it on the computer with DAT Bootcamp. For the science sections, I used a combination of Chad's videos. I watched those, took notes on them, and then I went into the OrgoMan books to do the practice questions for Gen Chem and Orgo and Bio. For Bio, people a lot of the times push these, you know, I've heard of like Cialis notes or whatever. If you only do the OrgoMan Bio questions, you will get an excellent grade because they're legitimately the same questions. Yeah.
In OrgoMan, are you saying DAT Destroyer?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
DAT Destroyer, yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, similar to Nico, I use Ari's Bootcamp and he suggested Chad's videos as well as the DAT Destroyer books. And I actually found that the end of the book, the later questions for bio and organic chemistry and general chem and math all were more applicable than maybe the first 150 questions.
Yeah.
Wish I'd have known that.
I didn't get to those questions.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So I used a few things similar to both of them. I did start off with Chad's videos. So I think that was a very, very good place to start out with. Going through the same methods, transcribing notes, Chad seems to get straight to the bulk of the things. He allows you, he gives you methods to be able to solve questions without going through it the long route. A lot of it is approximation, so he's very, very good at that. So Chad videos, and for the biology and the rest of this stuff, I also used the DAT Destroyer. But I also supplemented it with exam practice. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. If not, look that up as well. But exam crackers is very, very short. So if you need more of a comprehensive review, I would recommend something else. But exam crackers is basically a short summary. It gets straight to the bulk of everything. There's also an audio file for each lecture, which is basically reads every lecture to you. And on top of that, it gives you 1,000 questions corresponding to each section on the DAT. So you can use those as practice questions. It has like mid-curriculum review quizzes. They have everything that you could possibly need. So if you feel that the DAT Destroyer wasn't something that you liked, or maybe for some reason that didn't work out for you, then exam crackers could be your alternative option.
Okay.
What'd you guys end up using for the PAT section?
There was an app which I was looking at. I can't actually remember the name of it though. I thought it was DAT Bootcamp, but
Yeah,
I use that angle
the one he
generators and
made.
stuff.
yeah, that's,
I just use that.
I use that one also.
So I used DAT Bootcamp. Those I remember for the PAT were a little bit harder, on the harder side, right?
yeah, they were way harder than the actual
Right.
exam, which was pretty good.
I think the way because PAT I was so bad at, like so bad. And I remember taking this program, online program called Crack DAT Pat, like DAT PAT.
Yeah.
I think the lady on it is really annoying, but like some of the methods that she teaches,
It's really, really good.
pretty good,
Yeah.
pretty good. But you can't listen to her for over a half hour. Yeah.
I use that as well, but I like to say that the PAT section was by far my most horrible section. I knew going into it, with no matter how much prep I had, I was just going to do horrible on that section. But I had really, really good grades in all the rest of the sections. So I'm not recommending that you like, hey, I suck at PAT, but I'm gonna be really, really good at everything else. I wouldn't recommend that, but that actually came up in my interview and I had to explain it PAT section. So, I'm gonna get that advice. But if you're really, really, really solid in everything else and your exam is approaching and you suck at PAT, then I wouldn't lose too much sleep over it, but at the same time, it was brought up in my interview. So I just throw that out there.
Great. A lot of materials were discussed. We'll make sure to put links for all those materials in the comment box or whatever it is. So thank you all. Next question. And this is actually our last question of the evening. So if there was one thing that you could tell students not to do with regards to the DAT, what would that one thing be?
I know what I would say. I'll start this one off. If you haven't organize your life to where you're ready to start studying for a good 3 months, meaning that like you have distractions or maybe you have other obligations, until you're ready to start 3 months from your actual test date, don't start studying, because you don't want to study too much longer than 3 months and start forgetting things you learned within the first week of studying. So I think time management is the key. Organize yourself to be successful, and that way you don't waste time.
I know we talked about a lot of resources, but I think one of the biggest things that you shouldn't do is start looking at too many resources. I know, especially for bio, you might learn a bunch of different random facts and open up another book and it looks like you've never seen it before. So stick with one, know it inside and out, and it will help you in the long run.
My advice would be, again, don't utilize like 20 different resources. Pick your top 3 or 4 that everybody has been saying, stick to it, and don't dive too deep. Just figure it out for yourself, like whatever would show up on a multiple choice question that you could get correct, essentially.
Okay, great. All right. I think that'll do it. We at FutureDDS want to thank our panel, Nico, Sam, Corey. Thank you for helping our viewers do well on their DAT. If you all have any questions for any of our panelists, just comment in the comment section and we'll make sure that they reach out and answer those for you all. If you haven't already, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to our channel by hitting the subscribe button, as well as follow us on Instagram at _FutureDDS. That'll be it. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay.